Just in black. I own a moving company.
So how much do you make a year?
About 75 to 95, depending. That's how it works.
Pop my balloon because I just feel like that's not enough for me. But I feel like everything else was good, you know?
Okay, 75 to 95,000 a year is not good enough.
I thought it was going to be like 100,000 and more because he owns his own company, right?
Okay.
So it fluctuates. I've been owning my own business for about 3 years. It's been 110, then it's been 95, and it's also been 75. So, it fluctuates.
Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. You see all the wonderful information on the screen, so you know I'm all about marriage, but I'm always trying to knock down some of these myths, that people kind of have in their heads so that we can actually get to the process of marriage and kind of get out of, these stereotypes and or fantasies, that exist in our society. All right. So if you're brand new to the channel, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe, or you can wait to hear what I got to say and then hit it at the end. Either way. So here's the whole thing, right? The average amount that a person makes, I think the average American, and I'm going to put the numbers up so you can see them, but the average amount is right around $50,000 a year. All right. That is for, just men in general. And the reason why I'm using men in general is because I know sometimes you have a lot of black women or Latino women or even Asian women that might say, okay, I'm going to jump out of, my, group, i.e. I'm going to jump out of my race and try to date someone outside of my race. And recently, this has been a big thing with a lot of generational black women because they believe that other races are doing so much better than black men. And while that might be slightly true, okay, again, the numbers don't lie. That is slightly true. It is not true to the depth of what a lot of black women believe. I'm like I said, again, I might be a little bit wrong, but like I said, I'm going to put the numbers up. So I believe the difference between how much the average white man is making in America and the average black man is somewhere between $7,000 to $10,000 a year. All right. And I'll even agree over 10 years, that's a lot of money because that could be 70 to 100,000 extra dollars. But when you go back to the video and you're dealing with a woman that is basically looking at this guy and she's looking down upon him because we're just going to take the low number. We're going to take 75,000. We're not even going to worry about that 95. So we're just going to take the 75. And when we look at that number, this guy is probably making $25,000 to $30,000 more than the average black man in America. Okay, that's a lot more. And when you start to look at the fact that if he is fluctuating like he talks about, okay, and then the fact that he's only had this business for 3 years. So if he's able to push his business higher and higher, he could easily, by the time he's at his 5th year anniversary, be making 95 to 100 and be making that consistently. Because a lot of times when it comes to owning your own business, it's not always about those first 1 to 2 to 3 years. In fact, most people have to survive the first 2 to 3 years because there's so much you have to learn about what you're doing. Even when you start to look at the average job, okay, what do most companies want? I mean, even if you're going to work for them, what do they want? They want 2 to 3 years experience. Have you ever noticed that? They want 2 to 3 years experience. And the reason why they want 2 to 3 years experience is because they know it takes time to learn things. So this guy, this gentleman has 2 to 3 years experience. He's at that point where he's kind of mastered the understanding of his business. So at this point, if he has truly learned it, he should actually be upwardly mobile at this point. So he should be making more and more money every year. Even if it's just $5,000 or an average of $10,000 or whatever it is, he should be moving higher and higher. Now, the young lady that basically popped her balloon, she's basically saying, okay, I thought he would be making at least 6 figures or more. And she doesn't have the patience to wait for him to make said money. So for women that watch me, I'm always encouraging you all to look at things from multiple points of view, right? You know, I don't necessarily want you all in true struggle love with men waiting for them to get their money right. But at the same time, I'm not, encouraging you all to always go after men that are making six figures, because there has to be a balance, and you have to be looking at the man. And the number one thing I'm always trying to encourage you all, find a man that has left the station, his train has left the station, and he is chugging, 35, 45 miles an hour or more down the railroad tracks, towards his future, destination. That's what you want. That's what you want, that man having that vision, moving along. And this gentleman is doing so. He has a vision. He's working that vision out. Okay. And his train is moving. All right. He is moving at a good pace. Now, again, I know that most of these videos, like I've said before, people try to get them so that they really focus on the big, narrative, that whatever it is that they're trying to push. And they're really trying to show in this video, really kind of looking down. I really believe that that's the point of this video, to try to kind of showcase some of the problems with the mindset, of some women. And this is not all women. This is just some women. But I would encourage women not to be like this lady. And again, the reason why is because this man is doing what he's supposed to do. And within 5 years, he might, not only be making 100,000, he might be making $500,000. No one truly knows, but it's rare. Like I said, when you have to, that's why I always tell you all, start at the average. Start at the average. And if the average is about $50,000 and this guy is already over that, to a point, almost doubled it to a way, at that point, he's kind of a gem. All right. And when we start to look at statistics, we start to see that it's less than 15% or so of men, okay, men in general. I'm talking about white men, Asian men, Latino men, black men, that make over $100,000 a year. Okay, that's like 15%. So when a man is making 100 grand, ladies, and you're sitting in front of him, financially, you're dealing with a guy that's in the top 15% of America. All right. But again, you're dealing with a guy with him. He's right at that borderline. He is about to, to come over. So it's kind of, tricky. Now, again, most ladies, you're not going to have a man where you can sit at home. Okay. I know that's a big social media thing where everybody's trying to encourage women. And I would even honestly say, if you can stay at home, man, do it. I mean, do it. I see so many benefits of having one person to stay at home these days. The more I research it and the more I look into it, I mean, it really can change everything. It changes the direction of your children's lives. It changes, I kind of hate to say nutrition, but I'm learning more and more about nutrition. And nutrition is key because it really helps to get away from brain fog and other issues that plague the body. If you have someone at home that is basically saying, hey, I'm going to cook healthy meals. Now, it don't help if, the person at home just wants to DoorDash. But if they're going to cook from scratch, and then they're also going to, at least partially from scratch, and they're going to really work to get healthy meals in someone, that can be a boost, to the man and also to the children. So I do believe that is huge if you can make it happen. And like I say, there's a lot of ways to make this happen. One way is to live very far from whatever city, you're in, or to move to cities where it's cheaper to live. So there's a lot of different things you can do. All right. But we need to still focus in on this fact of the average. Okay. And what the average person can do and what the average situation is. So I kind of have to beat up on the lady a little bit because I do think that it was ill-advised, her popping the balloon over just that, especially because she said beyond that, the guy was really good. He was really nice. All right. But one of the other things that I want to say, because I know we talk about a little bit about passport bros and different things like that, And what I've kind of told you all, if you're moving down that passport bro mindset, so this is, more for the men. If you're moving down that passport bro mindset, those women are very concerned about how much money you make and what you do for a living. All right. And every single time I've talked to a woman that is like from Africa or, she's from South America, and we're on between the first and second conversation, it almost always goes down to, what do you do for a living? And if you do own your own business, she wants to know how successful it is. If you work for someone, she wants to know exactly what job it is so that she can Google it. Because you can Google almost any job. So if somebody says that, hey, I'm a brain surgeon, you can literally Google what is the average salary of a brain surgeon in Atlanta, Georgia. And it'll pop up. It'll pop up a range. And so she can look at that range and tell how much money you're making. And so a lot of women, especially that are moving towards that traditional value type system, and they come from other countries, they're concerned about that. All right. And I just want to put that out there for a lot of the passport bro, guys, because again, I'm not, against you guys going over there, but I want to prepare you, for the women that you're going to meet, and let you know that for them, a lot of those types of relationships are transactional. And honestly, like I said, I don't really have a problem with it. I actually did a video, man, it was probably about 2 months ago, where there was a black lady on it, and she was talking about how she was dealing with, these white ladies at her job. And this black lady was saying how she was kind of struggling a little bit with her and her husband. They weren't able to get all their finances paid and different things like that. And she noticed that all the white women that she worked with, they seemed to have it a lot easier. They never really talked about money or anything like that. So as she started to talk to them, she noticed that all of the white women, they wouldn't even talk to a guy that was not on those train tracks, or if he didn't already make money.
There is a reason why majority of black women are behind in the dating game, behind in the marital game. They're not getting married, and they cannot secure, or they have not been securing men who provide. And the main reason why is honestly speaking, it's first societal programming, and second, the way that we raise our children, which is why I encourage every black woman that's watching this video, even if you made mistakes and you already have children, be the person that breaks the pattern in the family, especially in regards to the selection of men. Let's be honest. Women who are of other cultures, as white women, Middle Eastern women, Asian women, they are taught to target and date and pursue men who are providers, someone or a man who has something to offer. Because in those cultures, when the father gives their daughter away to that man, they don't have the expectation in their mind that their daughter is going to have to struggle, work hard, work double shifts. They feel like, we're giving our precious flower away to you. Here she is. Make sure you take good care of her, and make sure you're able to provide for her. But in the black community, we're taught different. We're taught to date someone just because you like them. Oh, he's not working. It's okay, girl. Girl, hold him down. Hold him down. He doesn't have much going on. Hold him down. Just work it out. Stick it out. We're kind of taught that struggle narrative, that narrative of hard work and hard labor. And we're taught, but why would you be doing hard labor if you have a man present?
And so she kind of was like, black women have kind of been doing this wrong. And so that's part of what a lot of people are trying to tell black women these days, is that a lot of black women, in the way that they see the whole concept of making money and struggle love and all this other kind of stuff, they're doing it wrong. But I would also say you have to deal with the socioeconomic classes. Okay? Because even among white people, it's not that all white women are, have that knowledge. That's generally the knowledge of the middle class and upper class white women. That's not, the average working class white woman. All right? Unless she's hypergamous. Okay? And remember, the whole concept of hypergamy is to get out of your socioeconomic class. And the easiest way for a woman to get out of her socioeconomic class, let's just be honest, is to be attractive based upon the people around her, what they believe is attractive, right? Because everybody is attractive, but there are regions where people might prize a certain look a little bit more than another look. And this is why I'm always encouraging women, if you feel like men are not, checking for you, then you should go and move, and you should be okay with moving. But you need to kind of know the area of what people are checking for so that you can get into those areas. And you need to understand what men look like that actually make money. Like I've talked about before, if you're dealing with somebody from Northern California and you're dealing with a dark-skinned black woman, and let's say she is very attractive, okay, but in Northern California, they're so focused on her skin color that she's not able to really rise up. But she stays in that area. So she's staying in an area where people don't prize her beauty. So at that particular point, she kind of ends up taking what she can get. Instead of moving to an area, maybe like I say, like the South, where a lot of black men actually do enjoy dark-skinned black women. And then in those areas, she will do much better. All right. But if she wants to stay up there in Northern California, then that's going to be the life she's going to live. And there's nothing that anybody can really do about that. But if a woman wants to be hypergamous, I mean, that's part of what she has to do. Okay. And then the second part of what she has to do is she has to conform to the next level energy of where she's trying to go. If a woman wants to go, from working class into the middle class and upper classes, she has to bridle her mouth. She can't be cursing as much as she's probably used to. She can't even probably listen to some of the music that she's probably used to. She can't be as ratchet as she was, used to in the past. She might have to give up her family, i.e. she can see them, she can spend time with them, but she can't really hang with them like she might want to. Why? Because there's a different culture going up and down the socioeconomic class. All right? And so the reason why I bring all of this up is because now we're dealing with finances. And this whole video is really about finances. And this is one of the things why a lot of black men, okay, that feel like they're doing the right thing, that they have their money in order, they feel like, they're being overlooked. And the reason why they're being overlooked is, again, a lot of women have in their mind this number, this figure. But I can tell you straight up, $100,000 is not what it used to be. Just wanted to throw all those things in there. I know that's a whole lot, to kind of take in for this particular video. But I wanted to make sure that I cover a lot of these different bases, because I do think the woman was wrong. Don't get me wrong. I do think in a couple of years, this dude could be literally the guy of her dreams, and she could be passing it up for 20 grand. And like I said before, passing, a guy up for 20 grand, 2 or 3 inches of height, to me is foolish. It's so difficult just to find, even 70% of what you're looking for in somebody that it seems almost silly, to pass up for such small things, when in a little while, especially for the money, in 3 years, he could have that money. And most people are not going to get married in 3 days. I know there's a couple of places on social media where people have talked about that. Hey, I met this guy. We got married in 3 days. That's not really wise. That's not wise at all. But, and it's rare. And I know for me, I would not encourage anyone to marry anybody unless you have spent at least 6 months with them or more. All right. So that's just not what I feel. And again, if she is hanging out with this guy for a year, which would be around the time that I'm looking for him to propose, after, like I say, 12 to 18 months, if you've been tracking with me for a while. So she might be with him a whole nother year while he's pushing his business. So if he's 75 to 95, that means he's averaging 85. And within, like I say, 2 years, he might be at the point where he's averaging 95. 2 more years after that, it might be 105. So the average is what I will be looking for. And like I say, she's throwing him away way too quick. But I also say, from the woman's perspective, a lot of men need to understand that when they're dealing with certain women from certain cultures, these women, your money is part of what they're looking for. All right. And it's another reason why I do not encourage men to talk about the stress of making money with your woman. Yes, she needs to know how much money you make, once y'all get married. Yes, she needs to understand what's going on with the finances. Yes, all those things are true. But if you get stressed out because, like I say, he's building his business and he doesn't get a client that he wanted or whatever it is, don't go home to your wife saying, oh, I didn't get the client. Now I'm not going to make this 30,000 extra that I wanted this year. No. Do that with your boys. Do that with your boys. The only thing you need to talk to your woman about is the straight facts of what you're going to do, okay, when it comes to money. So like I say, if he didn't get the client and now his bottom line for that year is looking like he's only going to make, 85 when he thought he was going to make 105, then he can basically say, hey, I'm going to take up this other job. Maybe I'm going to take a part-time job, and he can just tell her that, like, look, babe, I thought I was going to get this client. I didn't get that client. My company's still going to do 85. So in order to make it up, I'm going to take this part-time job for 4 months and that'll give me most of that money back. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just letting you know because a lot of my weekends now are going to be busy, doing this other thing. Just give her directs on that. I mean, if she's instinct based, like I said, she might be able to take a little bit of that information, but most of the time women do not do good when you're worried as a man, when it seems like you're worried about your money. Because remember, protection, provision, and leadership are things that women, I'm just being real, there's just no excuse. They're not going to let you get an excuse out there. And there's no sense in worrying about it and stressing her out over it. And ladies, like I said, that's how men feel about beauty. So, it's no sense in you worried about, your beauty, your how, nice, kind you are, and also how supportive you are. There are no excuses. A lot of men are not going to listen to your excuses. Oh, I did this, or oh, I did that, and this thing didn't work for me. Guys don't really want to, hear that. They just want you to do what you need to do and move on. Anyway, I thought this was interesting. I figured I'd put it on out there. Remember, there's a lot of information in the description. Please like, please subscribe, and I'm going to see you all in the very next video.